probability OR using two-way table. 80% of new vehicles sold in the United States are domestic. 54% are light trucks. These are SUV and minivans. And 47% are domestic light truck. Choose a vehicle sold at random. What is the probability that it is a domestic or light truck? Observe that in the question itself, what is the probability that it is domestic or light trucks? So there are two events here connected by the or. To simplify the table, we will let A be domestic and B be light truck. Then the table is typically A or not A, B not B. This is what we call a two-way table. And we also list the corresponding total as well. These are the total row and the total columns. We were told that 80% of the vehicles sold in the US are domestic. This means the line with A represent domestic, has to add up 80%. So the total in the margin of the table for A, which is domestic, has to be 0.A or 0.80. 80%. 80% is 0.8. 54% are light trucks. We let light truck be the event B, and so similarly, the total in the margin for B, which is light truck, has to be 0.54. The total needs to add up equal to 1. This is the number at the lower right corner. This is the grand total. 1 means 100%. From this, we can fill out some blank boxes here. In the last column, we have 0.8, blank, and 1. This means this blank has to be 0.2. It should make sense because if 80% are domestic, then 20% are not domestic. These are imported vehicles. Similarly, 0.54 in the last row, blank 1. The missing box in the last row has to be 0.46. It cannot be anything else because the total in the rows and in the columns, last row and last columns need to add up equals to 1. Another piece of information here is that 47% are domestic light truck. This is a combination of domestic and light truck. This is the intersection of A and B. In the two-way table, there is only one box that represents the intersection of A and B, and this is this first box here. And so 0.47 has to go there. This is again both A and B, domestic and light trucks. The total of the first row needs to be 0.8, and so we can find the number in the blank box as well. 0.47 blank 0.8, so this has to be 0.33. We take 0.80 minus 0.47 to get 0.33. We do not need to be told these information. From the two-way table, we can find the missing pieces, the missing information this way. Similarly, for the column B, 0.47 blank 0.54, we need this number in this blank box so that when we add 0.47, we get 0.54. There's only one number that would go there, 0.54 minus 0.47, which is 0.07. And there are many ways to get this remaining piece of information here. We can either take 0.20 minus 0.07 or 0.46 minus 0.33. Regardless of how we do it, we should get 0.13 because 20 minus 7 is 13, or 46 minus 33 is 13. Now that we completed the two-way table, we can answer the question. We're looking for the probability that the vehicle chosen at random is domestic, A, or light truck, B. This is A or B or both A and B. And so we will pick up the probability of A, the probability of B, or the probability of A and B. As long as the box contains any of these, we will select it. For the first box, we have the probability of A and B 0.47. For the second box, we read this as A and not B, but regardless, A is in there. For the next box, we read this as B and not A. B is in there, so we will select it. And for the remaining box 0.13, we would not select it because it is not A, not B, but we need to have either AB or both AB. And so the answer is 0.47 plus 0.33 plus 0.07, or 0.87.